Welcome to Nameless Debate Radio, where radioactivity is contagious. You can join us in broadening our minds on the Nameless Debates Discord via the link below and even feature here yourself, if you've got what it takes.
So anyway, Holden, I should have asked you this question maybe prior to this whole thing. Was it your position prior to having this argument rendered to you that all nuclear power should be fundamentally opposed?
Negative.
So what was your initial stance prior to the rendering
My
of this
position was that
argumentation?
legislatively, I would not invest in it.
You would not invest in it. What does that mean?
Well,
That if you were pulling the
I'm
purse strings,
since I'm an individual in the energy-rich state, actually headquarters to the largest energy corporation in the world, I have a large understanding and implementation and white papers that are outlining that outline different types of energy policy, specifically in terms of renewable energy. So when I choose to make things in terms of legislative proposals or policy proposals or actions, what I do is evaluate how are we going to fund it, in what mechanisms are we going to use to fund it, where are we going to draw the funds from, and how will we actually provide the mechanisms that are necessary in order to create the legislative means to which we can promote the types of policies in energy which I would prefer. I did not stand in opposition to nuclear energy. However, I did not promote it. Now, the argument that was presented to me regarding the concerns that I had of nuclear power, in which the transmission of it and production of it and security of it and overall environmental concerns were allayed and overcome any objection to which I held, would no longer then be relevant in terms of political ideation, because I seek responsibility with the taxpayer dollar and the most efficacious outcome in terms of how we apply policy to not promote or affirm the necessary need that nuclear power fulfills in our objective viewpoint in terms of, in our goal to move to a fully renewable energy environment.
so I'm going to try to piece together what you said there, because I was only catching every third word, and I don't know if it was my connection to your connection, but I'm going to assume it was. It sounded to me like you held a position. We're going to differentiate position from belief here. You held a position that nuclear power was not the most efficient way for your particular area to produce energy based on a particular evaluation of, say, cost efficiency, waste storage, and things of that nature.
It's not just about my particular area.
Well, we're only talking about you. That's the only thing that matters.
Right, but the electrical grid affects half of the United States.
I'm sorry, what you broke up again. What did you say?
The electrical grid affects half of the United States. The policies in which I might advocate or make, in most cases, don't have any effect on my actual life. I'm somewhat removed from the policies.
Right, so but we're not talking about the effects. We're talking about, you held a position that nuclear power was not something that should be promoted based on a particular evaluation.
I never said should be. Hold on. Sorry, I never said should be promoted. I said it wasn't something that I promoted legislatively.
Well, I believe that's what I just said. You held a particular position.
Well, you said I held the belief that it shouldn't be promoted. What do you determine as promotion?
That you held a position that nuclear power should not be promoted based on a particular analysis of data sets, i.e. what you pointed out, cost savings, waste storage, things of that nature. Correct?
Can you give me a rephrasing of that doesn't use the word promoted? Because promoting, I think, to you and I might have different connotations.
You held a position that nuclear power was not something that should be brought up to a legislative body to be produced, as opposed to, say, solar, wind, geothermal, and kinetic energy, which, according to the data sets that you had, seemed like a much more cost-efficient manner of producing energy for a set of Americans.
I don't hold them in a dichotomous view in opposition. I will promote any individual source of energy production so long as I can evaluate the environmental impacts
Then
of
why did you reject nuclear energy?
it. Because the environmental impacts did not seem to be appropriate.
The what?
The environmental impact.
Okay.
The measurable
You held
impact
the-
on the decline of the environment. The natural world.
So you held a position that nuclear power was bad because waste would screw up the environment.
Not necessarily waste. There are a variety of different areas and aspects of which nuclear energy could present issues if not correctly managed or applied.
Well, there's only really three
Waste is
ways.
like waste. I'm sorry for
Well,
laughing.
there's
Waste is the smallest issue.
Well, there's only three ways a nuclear power plant could fuck up the environment: waste, an explosion, or a meltdown. That's it.
Familiar with what it takes to make
waste.
Yeah. Also, are you also aware of what it takes to make concrete?
Am I
Takes-
aware of what it takes to
What?
make concrete?
Yeah, so he's saying there's a manufacturing
Yes,
cost to the environment.
I am aware of what it takes to make the current type of concrete that we use.
Yeah, so
I am using
the point-
push top.
the point was that he's saying that there is an environmental impact from the construction.
Yes, I understand.
As well
that.
as the
So-
maintaining and management.
So what I said initially still stands. You felt that you held a position that nuclear power was not beneficial to legislate due to a particular evaluation of data sets, i.e. cost efficiency, waste storage, and the way it would impact the environment. You were then presented with an argument which belayed those particular misgivings about nuclear power and changed your position. Am I correct?
Sorry, I wasn't listening to you. I'll be honest.
Well, I'm not going to repeat it.
Do you mean
Is that-
Ale? Just quickly, do you mean Ale? Not belay. I'm assuming you meant Ale, not belay.
Yeah, belay is an order that's
belay.
belay is
I don't believe
specifically
I said the word belay.
Oh my god.
belay is specifically
I believe
belay
I
is
said
related to
relay.
naval.
No, you didn't
Belay-
say relay. Relay wouldn't
Said belay.
even make sense in the sentence, right? You said, and now, like at the end of it, you said something like, and the argument you were given belayed your fears about it, right? So relay, that doesn't make sense.
Allayed.
Yeah,
Allayed.
that's what I asked. That is what I
Allayed.
asked. Again, that's what I asked. I said, did you mean allay or belay? Because you said belay.
No, there was no B there.
Yeah, there
My
definitely
accent.
was. Why don't we ask the people listening?
I didn't hear.
What, the word or the B?
I didn't even notice.
That's an
We should just move on.
I didn't notice that part of the argument.
Anyway, it seems to me that the initial position that I held that has not been shown to be
I'm
false.
so,
It
like,
is
I think you've
not
moved.
it's not my evaluation that Holden changed
Why
a
are you so
belief
insistent?
about nuclear power.
Yeah, why are
It
you so
is my
insistent that you-
understanding that Holden changed a position about nuclear
Sir, my
power and a position.
Pearls have been.
is
I'm
not a
clutching
belief.
pearls right now. Pearls.
Why
Pearls
are you
are
so
currently
insistent that
being.
you be allowed to soap
clashed.
on stuff that's irrelevant? I've heard you pivot the entire time, right? The original conversation, let me remind you, the original conversation was about you saying that if he changed his mind in the moment that the argument against his point of view was rendered, it wasn't really a belief, it was an assumption. That was your original point of view, and that is ridiculous.
And that's what I just doubled down on, that it is
No,
not
it
my-
isn't.
It is not my position that this man changed a belief, but an assumption. He
Yeah,
changed a
that's-
position from
Can
one
I just
thing
ask then?
to another.
Can I just ask then? Did anybody listening to this, was anybody listening persuaded that what Holden did was change an assumption? Anybody? Silence. Fucking crazy.
Well,
came into this without an understanding of the original proposition, listened for 20 minutes, and still barely have any idea of what's actually being argued about.
I don't generally. I try not to make assumptions. Of course, it happens when it comes to things like legislation. I take that very, very seriously.
He literally said that.
right. So
some of the ideas he had have changed, and I don't know,
right. So this was my initial
what is
claim.
this? This feels like concern trolling.
Well, no, there's no concern trolling here. I initially made a statement that people do not change beliefs instantaneously simply because of argument that they believe was rendered to them. Generally, what happens is that.
So not instantaneously, but over time they can, as they internalize arguments, as you present different things to them.
Other questions.
But it's
over a period of time,
that's the thing,
their beliefs will change. Then Holden offered me an example that he, quote unquote, changed his belief about nuclear energy instantaneously based on an argument that was rendered to him.
No, I never said instantaneously. What I said was that in this conversation that I had with this individual, what we had was an exchange of information, a discussion, and we basically together we evaluated a variety of different areas of information, sources, statistics, materials, reactor designs, and what we essentially did in exploring the information was find a clear delineation in the reality that the ideological perceptions, or whatever you want to call them, the legislation of which I had been previously an advocate for, was no longer relevant in the context of the information that was presented, and we explored it together. It wasn't an instantaneous thing. It was let's take it and look at it. That's how I make decisions.
Okay, well then great. Then you just proved my point with 30 minutes of arguing.
I'm going to add on to what Holden said. Look, if you're going to talk for so long, so slowly, you can't start speaking immediately. Otherwise, no one else gets a choice, right? Doesn't even make sense. So what Holden, you rendered it very uncharitably. You said instantaneously, right? Every time I have rendered the proposition, it has been in the moment that the argument is rendered. And moment isn't just 1 second, right? Moment is a bit more vague than that, right? That moment, that day, first the argument that he was in, right? In the argument, yes, he can change his mind. That people can do that, and it doesn't mean that they just hold an assumption and not a belief. In fact, and I said this at the beginning, it sounds like this is a lot of mental gymnastics to defend conjecture that wasn't true to begin with, which is that people can't change their minds in response to arguments rendered.
Yeah, you're a very twitchy person, you know that? You'd have a bad
time.
I
mean, I don't know why that is relevant to what I said.
You have trouble.
I don't know why that's relevant. Could you please stay on the content?
You seem to have a...
Yes, stay content-oriented, please.
No, Taurus, keep it on the argument, please.
You seem to have a unique...
You're just going to get muted by myself again if you're just going to talk about me. Keep it on the content.
Right, yeah, you don't get to, determine the way in which I respond.
Keep it on the content.
This is the content. You
started talking about me. You started saying, excuse me, you started saying I'm twitchy. Don't fucking lie.
Yeah, you are twitchy.
Yeah, okay, you're going to get muted until you can talk about the substance.
Okay, notoriously, you understand the objection is that if you're discussing a person and not their ideas, you're either 1, ad homing them, 2, trying to give psychological advice, which I don't know if you're qualified to do that, and we don't really want to hear you discuss instinct. We're all familiar enough with him that we can form our own assessments.
So
please discuss ideas and not insult person.
I have attempted to explain my position times now. It is at this point, not my problem that this person has an issue with misremembering things.
Dude, I pointed out that you hadn't persuaded anyone. You didn't persuade anyone.
I don't need to persuade anybody.
Of course, you're
Persuasion
just here
is
to
not
present an argument that does nothing.
persuasion is not a metric of truth, right?
Persuasion is a metric of how
Metric of
clearly
the
you're expressing yourself.
no, because I could provide the most persuasive argument possible to a Christian, and they still wouldn't change their mind, most likely. So persuasion is
No,
merely
I didn't say.
persuasion. I'm sorry, right, sir. I'm sorry, but I wasn't done talking. Persuasion is a metric of the validity of rhetoric, not the truth. Now, as I stated before, it is my
I'm actually not sure that's even true.
It is my conclusion that Holden held a position, and that position was changed. Since a position does not rise to the level of a belief,
Oh my
the
God,
only
dude.
other category in which we can qualify a position
Can I just ask though?
is an assumption.
Are
Since
you-
what is defined as
As-
position by the Oxford Encyclopedia as it relates to a philosophical
sure,
discussion
yeah.
would be an
So are
opinion,
you?
stand, or stance, and we generally accept belief to be a mental acceptance of a claim as likely true. There was
Yeah.
not a change of belief here, but a change of position, which would be a change of assumption, which means that my initial position still stands.
That's some good mental gymnastics. Can I just ask you a question? Do you believe, right, that you would know better than Holden if Holden's beliefs were beliefs or assumptions? Is that something you're able to check better than he is? Are you a psychic of some kind?
That's non-tangential to the conversation.
That's not. It's not.
Please
First of
stay
all,
on the
it's not
content.
non-tangential. It
Please
would be
stay on the content.
the
sir.
proper objection would be that is tangential, not it's non-tangential.
Please, sir, stay on. Please stay
That
on
is
topic.
on topic. Holden would know if it were an assumption or a belief. He has said repeatedly it's a belief. I think, based on what he said, it's a belief. I've heard everybody else who participated in the conversation find your account incoherent, right? It's just like you essentially, like I said before, return to the assertion, the conjecture that was the original problem, that was the original contention, right? Which was, you said that if he changed his mind in response to an argument rendered in the moment, then, therefore, it must have been an assumption. Now that is backwards reasoning.
Did all that make you happy inside?
See, that's disingenuous.
Can I just ask you a thing, Notorious?
You can ask
Can
me
you please in
anything you
future
want.
only refer to Instinct by his preferred pronouns, not sir, but daddy or massa? Massa and daddy are his preferred terms of our reference. Please do not use sir.
Well, I am
Yeah, I don't
sorry,
appreciate that. I actually don't appreciate No, like just
I
to
will not refer to someone in a using derogatory.
Okay, well, just to make it clear though, I don't appreciate it when you refer to me as sir. In my opinion, that's you being condescending. Do not do it again.
But I mean, aren't you a male though? Like, I'm not making that argument.
Am I not
Nothing to do with being male, dude. It's
Am I
nothing to do
not
with being
allowed
male.
to decide that I don't like the pronoun he's using on me?
Yeah,
But I
I'm
mean,
sorry,
it's
but
true.
using the word "sir" is generally speaking understood to be a showing of respect, as opposed to saying what I
So is
would like
ma'am.
to call him.
Wait a minute. There's also an inversion. Every term that means respect can be inverted and used to mock someone. That is what you're doing.
Are you claiming now that you have access to my brain states?
Wait, please don't be non-tangential.
Are you now?
No, but the social
claiming you have
perception of
access
it,
to
right?
my brain states?
No, but
Yeah,
in my
isn't it-
social perception, in my understanding, the social perception would go to, it's really, I don't know what big servers you come from, but it's really similar to kind of like how someone like Mr. Batman would refer to it, and like a lot of people have picked up the surfing on Discord because there is a moderately
Please don't.
well-known
Yeah, but
Discord
it's
user
irrelevant
that-
to the user's context.
Wouldn't you agree?
No, it's. I know that, but it's just like a but it depends, right? If someone's being like intentionally annoying, like we can moderate.
Well, yeah.
They can moderate for tone and stuff, and generally, people that go around using "sir" like that in an argument are mostly mimicking Mr. Batman.
Well,
Yeah, I know,
I'm
but
sorry.
I don't know. It might just be the use of terms when making rebuttal, but I Like in his case, obviously it was.
Yeah.
He knew that, but I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't go off the bat and use that as an argument.
Not really
Yeah, I'm
making an
sorry, but
argument.
my
It's kind of
use
making.
of the word "sir," versus the way that Mr. Batman or Jim uses the
Just
word
call me.
"sir."
And as well that
Entirely
you're
different
getting that
things.
mad in an argument about it, like when it's irrelevant.
What? I'm not mad. I'm just chilling.
Or that you're getting offended.
Well,
Do I
and
sound-
if he
do I
if he would
seem mad in any
prefer-
To
way?
be clear, I was using a
if-
rhetorical. I was using a rhetorical tactic, right? Which is that.
If InSync would prefer,
Wait, don't I get to
give
respond?
me-
Wait, don't
if
I get to
InSync
respond
would
to
prefer
Alaus?
to
He's
give
talking to
me
me, right?
pronouns that
Wait,
he would
he's talking to
prefer,
me, right? Wasn't Alaus talking to me, not you?
acquiesce
I'm
to
pretty
those
sure he
opinions,
was.
but not pronouns that are derogatory. I will not refer to
Excuse
anyone
me,
in any
you using
derogatory
sir
manner.
like that is derogatory. Fuck you.
No, thank you.
Yes,
I'm
it is.
okay.
I interpret as you being condescending. Fuck you.
Okay, well, once again, there will never be sexual contact between the two of us, so...
I
What's
don't care
condescending about Daddy?
Is there a particular pronoun that is
You know, it's
non-derogatory
fun-
that you would prefer me to use?
Dude, man, those are fine.
Dude
Don't
is,
use an
a
honorific.
generalization.
Here's the rule. Don't use an honorific.
Okay, well, how about I just refer to you from this point forever and going forward as non-charitable interlocutor.
Sounds good to me, bro.
All right.
I call him Papa
non-charitable
Saint.
interlocutor. Non-charitable interlocutor. There we go. That'll work just fine, won't it?
Thanks,
Or,
bro.
you know,
That's
you
pretty
could
much-
actually just, like, as an adult, use someone's name.
Well, that's not his name, is it?
His name is
no,
Matthew.
So it is, right? So, like it is your username, right?
Between
it's
a
the name
belief
you choose to,
and an
like,
assumption.
I mean, if you're selecting a name for yourself, like, that's the name you choose to represent yourself in life. That is as much as your name as, like, your legal given name or a nickname you get. There are all kinds of names we use in life, right? Like, our legal name isn't our only name. Your selected username as much as your name is anything else. It's a name.
I mean, presumably Kathleen isn't your given name.
Yes, it is.
So you didn't change
Maybe
it?
it is.
You didn't change your
Name.
name legally.
But yeah, that, like, to say that it's not a name is to make, like, a category error, basically.
Oh, did I change my name? Yes, this was not the name I was born with. However, this is my
So
legal
then that's
name.
not your given name. That's what given name means. It's the name you're given. You weren't
So,
given
like,
Kathleen.
we have the
Well-
the superset that is names, and then we have all kinds of different names under the superset that is names. Why is
Right,
one
he gave
name,
me
like,
his
more
name,
valid than
so
another?
I will use that name.
Yeah, his name is
I
Insync.
believe-
Just call him Insync. Insync or
Well,
Matt.
someone said his name was Matthew.
Yeah, Matt. Once again, not Matthew, but Matt. Generally,
My God, you guys are all tweaky.
and it's
Call
causing
him
the same
Matthew.
conversation.
Mostly it's a fun little...
By the way, I would like to take this opportunity real quick in the lull of a conversation to point out that if you haven't gone down and checked out the next president, you ought to do that.
Check
You
out
know,
You got a
what?
meme on Peter Judge. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's I feel sorry for your mother.
Do you think I was?
I'm sorry,
Sorry.
the less I know and hear about the American election, the objectively better off I'll be.
I can tell you what's going to happen right now, baby. Fucking, we don't rock him today. Pete Buttigieg is going to have problems come fucking South Carolina, and it's just how it's going to be, baby. Like, Bernie's going to take Texas. He's going to take fucking Florida. He's going to take California. He's going to take New Mexico. He's going to take. I could go Howard Dean on y'all if I want. I mean,
I'm not your baby.
so
Don't call me that.
you can. I'll do whatever I want, my friend.
Cannot. If I am required to
can.
refer to people in this
You can require
chat room in a
all you
specific
want,
way,
man.
then you
Do we have
will.
syrup?
I just put syrup on it. Then you will not refer
What
to
you could
me by
do,
names that
what
I
you could do is
find-
earn. what
I
you
don't
could
need to
do
learn
through your
anything.
behavior is
Here's the
what you
thing,
could-
though. Here's
hold
my
on.
favorite part about
Wait,
Discord
you
is
can-
that you aren't promised free speech.
What you could also do through your behavior is earn
Well, if it's
my,
okay for you
like-
to refer to me as baby, then it's okay for me to refer to InSync as sir.
I mean,
You can call me the-
no, wait a minute. Let's
call me
be
a-
clear. Wait. I observed your particular preferred pronoun the entire time we were talking. So what Holden does is irrelevant, right? I respected your preferred pronoun. Please respect mine.
Yeah,
so the
that's
problem
kind
here
of
is
like,
that
you
if
know.
this- the problem
No,
here
but-
is if the moderation team is not willing to be consistent.
Holden
why
isn't
should
part
I
of the
honor
moderation.
inconsistency?
Holden isn't
You
part of the
you didn't get
moderation
moderated.
team.
You didn't get moderated for calling him sir. You were just like requested in the
Yeah,
social
I didn't say
sense
I
to
was.
call him
Yeah,
sir,
I
right?
didn't say
No,
I was
but-
moderated for calling.
I was saying-
You're not.
I'm
Can
gonna give you-
I
I'm
just
gonna
run
give you-
down what you just said there because it was phenomenally
No, you
Wait,
cannot.
dumb? Well, I'm going to anyway. For the audience, I'm going to anyway. I don't
Holden
require
is-
your specific consent.
Yeah, just to be
I
clear, Holden is not part of the moderation team. Anything Holden does is
I didn't say he was.
Well, you
okay,
said
but
Wait,
I want
Right. So what I said was, is the case that a moderator, which I believe you all think, is setting a specific tone in the way in which conversation should happen in here, i.e., you as a moderator.
I'm not a moderator
that
either.
A person should refer. That a person should refer to a person by their preferred pronoun,
no, I-
which is understandable
that is-
considering there are probably trans.
that isn't
No,
actually what I
I'm
said.
not a
I-
moderator.
That
So
should
I am a moderator. I
be
didn't set-
consistent across the board, should it not?
Listen, I'm the moderator. I didn't set the standard that everybody has to follow that rule. I observed the rule. Then it occurred to me that in order to be consistent, you could not persist in using the honorific, right? So I played a trick on you, which is I actually do not enjoy you calling me sir, and I can force you to stop because otherwise you'd be violating your own fucking rules.
Also, when I said baby,
Right, so
I was using it in the term of like a fucking like 50s jive record producer. Like, you're gonna make so much money, baby.
yeah,
Like,
so,
I wasn't using it in any specific.
you're free to
listen, when I'm
so
speaking,
you're
please
free
listen
to call
to
me
When
baby.
I'm speaking,
So I'm
please
free to
listen
call
to
It's
you
not
Eva?
equivalent, dude. This is highly disingenuous, right? And also,
When I'm
I want to
speaking-
point out there's a huge problem in what you've set up, right? So even if Holden did that, you went Holden is person B, InSync is person A, and you said because person B has done something wrong, I can therefore do something wrong to person A. Like, you do understand, like, one of the most fundamental things like we teach like fucking children is 2 wrongs don't make a right. I don't know
So you
how
do realize-
people on Discord
well,
don't
there's a-
get this. So if you're
Right,
saying
so
if
there's a
person
problem
B
with what you
punches
just
you,
rendered.
you can turn around and punch person A.
Notorious,
It's literally what you've argued.
There's a problem with what you. Yeah, so there's a problem with what you just rendered there because I was not using 2 wrongs make a right. I was pointing out inconsistency. Situation. The first
But there's 2
situation
different people.
A, the second situation B, and if it is the case that
You can
during
use
the
you
course
can
of
bring them to
conversation
account
you
via
would
the social
want some
contract.
form of performative consistency, right? Then both should be accepted.
Well,
Since I
that
said
would be
don't call me
true.
baby
That would be-
twice,
That would be true if I were enforcing a rule broadly on the tone of the conversation, but I wasn't. I was
cool.
asking.
Now I know that you don't care to be consistent.
What I said was,
now that I know
I
that
was
about you.
asking. Look, I observed your fucking preferred pronoun. I'm consistent in my behavior. I'm not going to tell other people.
What is my
I'm not
preferred
going to tell
pronoun?
other people that they have to. They can if they want, and they cannot if they want. I'm not concerned with that. The point is, since you obviously, given your identity, must observe the rule around preferred pronouns, I thought, since I don't like the way you talk to me, and since I observed your rule, you should observe your rule.
Well, I'm curious. What do you think my preferred pronoun is?
She, her.
That's true.
Yeah, and that's what I referred to you as.
Is sir a pronoun?
Yes,
Is sir
it
a
is.
pronoun or a title?
It's an
I believe it's
honorific.
a title.
It's an honorific, but it's gendered. It is obviously gendered.
Oh, okay. So it's not a pronoun, but it is.
It is a gendered honorific, and that is the basic idea: is that you don't like gendered pronouns.
Anyway, moving
Sir,
on.
Queen
like
of
I said,
England?
If you
No,
haven't had a chance,
no,
you should definitely
Insik has a point
donate
here.
to Pete Buttigieg.
No, Insik has a point here, right? Like, I'm pretty sure, like, I don't think it's an outrageous claim to say that, like, most, trans individuals, either way, whether female to male or male to female, would be, like, pretty upset if, they were being referred to ma'am or sir in a way that didn't match their preferred, gender expression, right? Like, like, a male to female would be pretty upset to be called sir, and a female to male would be pretty upset to be called ma'am in like most situations that I could think of, right? Like this isn't like I don't know, like
Yeah, but the perception
this is kind of
so...
horribly discriminatory towards trans people if you're actually like arguing it.
Yeah, but the thing is though, like the thing is the perception of, you know, if they're trans or not wasn't even available to me until they actually made the statement that they were.
Yeah, I'm whether or not they were trans is fine. I'm not talking about like how we've been referring to Notorious here, but I'm more talking because I mean I generally fall back on gender neutral anyway. But it's more that like ma'am and sir specifically like would be objected to by these groups.
Right. It just seems.
And
to
so
me
it's silly
that,
to pretend that they wouldn't.
Well, yeah,
so
because those are the two biological sexes.
Right. It just seems to me that you're putting the cart before the horse, because my comment about Holden had absolutely nothing to do with what you're speaking about, but merely a critique of what I perceive to be a lack of consistency in the way people approached people.
And I understand that actually, because you thought that I was enforcing the standard on the whole chat, but actually I was only engaging in a contract with you, social contract with you, because I was using your preferred term, because that's your rule. It's not my rule. I don't actually have a rule about this. I try to be respectful. Right? So I observed your rule, and then it occurred to me that I could use your rule to make you stop degrading me.
So, you know what else I have a rule about that I think you should respect?
What's that?
I think you should go on down to www.
Dude, no one here fucking supports Pete Buttigieg. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Just to be clear, though.
Manipulation.
I have another rule related to that one, which is don't advertise on my
Yeah, no advertising. Otherwise, you know what I'd be fucking constantly trying to get donations, and fucking Sync's like, no, you can't do that.
Curious. How much in trouble can they get for international donations?
Dude, under no circumstances can you take international donations. I couldn't even. Okay, I was gonna get what's his name, fucking Ballin, to help me out with design. So what you're
saying is we should all donate incrementally tiny amounts.
No,
because there would be international donations and it would cause trouble for people.
No, first of all, your credit card won't even go. Don't.
Because a lot of us aren't from America here, so if we just all donated like $1 or 50 cents or something to people,
that's I can't be a.
I'm not asking you to. I'm just running down like consequentially how would that make it difficult for his campaign?
What you should do if you have any questions about election laws, or you can go to. God damn it! You can go to the fucking Secretary of State's website, or
I'm not. The point is we're in an international setting.
It harder for Pete Buttigieg?
I'm going to refer any questions
because the sooner your country implodes, the better. To be honest, how about that?
Well, that's not going to happen. But if it makes you feel better, I gave the maximum donatable limit to 4 candidates, including Bernie Sanders.
I'm sure you did.
Why?
I feel like the world would be a better place if every 4 years, America was just cut off from the rest, the internet was just shut off.
Julius.
Americans weren't allowed to talk to the rest of the world during the
Why would that make us feel better?
Julius, I know you're joking.
It sounds to me like there's some Bernie bros.
Yeah, I'm just mocking the situation.
I understand.
I was actually with Beto from the beginning. So no, I'm not a Bernie bro.
Beto was a.
Yeah.
How about we debate what truth is? Let's see how you do on that.
What truth is? Okay. What is your current stance on truth?
No, I asked.
I'll give you an answer. The answer is that I can't make that determination without science.
Ah, okay. So you gave a non sequitur response.
How is that a non sequitur?
Because I asked you a direct question
no,
and you didn't answer it.
I do want to hear that.
Yes, okay. So when you say I can't make that determination without science, I never said you had to exclude science. You can have science, man. Make your fucking determination. I asked.
So do you want to reiterate your question?
Yeah. So if I say I defined free will as the ability to choose, would you still say it doesn't exist?
What do you mean by the ability to choose? Two elements, I said. Two parts of existence. And the first one was data, which I defined as non-contingent, uninterpreted information. And that's something that has to exist. That's basically what we were talking about when we said the nothingness thing before. Because, like, if there... Hey, Darth, do you want to have an argument with me?
I only argue with people for $10.
Come on, man.
What do you want to argue about?
Oh, I thought we could argue about, like, whether or not God exists.
Okay, well, first of all, tell me what specifically is, in words that any basic person can understand, not dressed up in philosophy speak, what is the nature of the properties and attributes of the impersonal absolute that you say everything depends upon?
Oh, yeah, I can give you that. Necessary, so non-contingency, that's one. And the other one is consistent relational structure.
Okay, listen, if you continue with your bullshit remarks,